guess I'm just making this video. Maybe it's just for myself. I just sometimes get so overwhelmed. My heart and my mind get so overwhelmed with the things of God, and just with His presence, and thinking about who He is, and it gets so big. And sometimes I just think, you know what, I just need to talk it out. Yeah, and maybe I'll post this. I might delete it, I don't know. But I've been out taking a walk, and it's cold, and it looks like it's about to rain on me, but it's okay, I don't care. But I've just been stuck on that song. It's called Nothing Else. It's by Cody Carnes, I believe. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am. But it's just such a beautiful song. Every word is just so deep and so powerful. And I was just walking, against the traffic, and I'm sure cars must have been thinking, who's this crazy person walking, singing at the top of her lungs, looks like she's crying, and I was, and I don't care. It's okay if I look crazy. I've never professed to be normal, so if somebody thought that, they assumed it. But in thinking about this song, something just rose up so big in my heart. And I was thinking about how all that's happened in this crazy world, right, with the shutdown and churches shutting down, and still there are people that have not yet been to their church in almost a year. Don't know when it's going to open. Some have just started back, some never stopped. So, it's totally different. But a thought that just keeps just pushing its way through all the other thoughts in my head, which is a lot, is the tangible, personal presence of God available to us. And I kind of hesitate to talk about this because I've said some things about it on the broadcast, and I've talked about it in posts and things, and I think some people have misunderstood me to mean that I'm saying, like, you don't have to go to a church. That's not what I'm saying. I would never say that. I grew up in church. My whole life has been church within the four walls and church services. I have the highest esteem for church and even traditional church, and pastors and all of that. I don't even need to get into it because I just feel like I don't even need, my life should speak. My history, I don't need to justify it. But what's so heavy in my heart is this, and I hope that I am not misunderstood. So hopefully people will hear me and not just assume you know what I'm saying. Just hear me. When we talk about the personal presence of God, in this time that we've lived in, if there has ever been a time where you and I have been afforded the grandest, harshest, but the grandest of opportunities to learn of and to pursue the personal presence of God on our own, outside of a corporate setting, to learn His presence on our own, outside of having a worship team pumping us up and spurring us on and trying to drag life out of our dead corpses that we drag in on Sunday morning sometimes. At least that's what it seems like. And again, I speak from experience because I have been on a praise and worship team since I was a tiny girl. I have led worship for up teen years. So I know what I speak. Sometimes, when we have our churches, we depend upon the worship team. We depend upon the pastor. We depend upon the parking lot attendants to be kind and smile. We depend upon the ushers to be just right and to be just friendly enough and don't make us sit somewhere we don't want to sit. And we could go on, and that's like whole messages in itself. But here's what I'm trying to say. Thank God for our churches, absolutely. And I know there are people that are saying, I can't wait till things get back to normal so, I can get back to church. Well, honestly, I don't know what normal is anymore. And I don't know what that's going to look like. But here's what I do know. We have been afforded the opportunity, very similar in a sense, to Paul. I was thinking about the Apostle Paul. When he was thrown into dire straits, when he was thrown into prison, the times that he was most alone, most challenged, most pressed on all sides, the opportunity at hand was this. Will you pursue the personal presence of God in your life in the midst of the shutdown, the pressing, the struggle, the crushing, in the midst of these things, in the midst of not having your church, your praise and worship team, that corporate setting, the quote fellowship, the this, the that, all these things, nothing wrong with it. But if we don't have that, what do? Do we fall back or do we pursue? And I think, that is a valid question that we all could probably ask ourselves. What have I done? Have I squandered this opportunity? This pandemic, as they call it, plandemic, whatever you want to call it, this shutdown, this whatever you want to say, what have we done with it? Have we taken time to really, instead of moaning and being upset and crying that we don't have our normal experience, we don't have our church, did we have church with just the Holy Spirit? Did we lay before Him? Did we walk with Him? Did we run with Him? Did we work with Him? Did we learn to be really quiet? Did we learn to quiet our minds so we could hear Him teach a personal sermon? Did we worship deeper than ever before because there was no one else to tell us to be quiet and there was no one to look at you like you're strange? Did we do those things? Because see, the personal presence of God, and this is what I'm trying to say, I guess this is just what's big in my heart, it is available to us 24/7. Whether you attend a traditional in four walls service, whether you're able to, whether you do, whatever your reasoning is, whether you do or whether you don't, I don't care. I don't care where you go to church. I don't care who your pastors are. I don't care who your spiritual parents are. It's not my deal. It's not my business. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that, that's not my thing. I'm not talking about that. Hear my heart. What I'm talking about is that each of us have this opportunity. And I don't want to fail it. And I hope we haven't failed it. And if we have, then the grace of God covers us. And we get up and we pursue today the personal presence of God harder, deeper, more powerful, more passionately than ever before. Because whether you are going to check in tonight at your Wednesday night service, wonderful. Whether you can't go to a Wednesday night service, wonderful. Because guess what? The power, the same personal presence of God that the Apostle Paul learned to pursue and to draw on, where he could say the things he said, write the things he wrote, live the way he lived. Was that all because of the time he spent in the corporate body in a traditional church? Absolutely not. It came out of the times when he was alone with God, when God was his only hope, when the presence of God was the very air that he breathed, and it became the blood flowing in his body, and he knew that he knew that he knew. And so, I guess this time that we have, whether it gets back to normal, whether it doesn't, I guess that's just not the point, is it? That's not the point. What are we going to do with this time? What have we done? What are we doing? And what will we do? And so I pray today that you will pursue, just as I am endeavoring to pursue, making a fool out of myself. I'm tucked off the road and I'm sitting here and hiding in this little section by the woods, and there's a bank in front of me and people are driving by looking at this strange person crying, talking on the phone. I don't care. What are we going to do with this time? And I pray that today you pursue him harder. And maybe you say, don't tell me what to do. You don't know my life. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You're right, I don't. So, if you already know this, well, cool. Just go do more of it. But perhaps maybe if this encourages you, then cool. Go do more of it. As for me today, I want to pursue the presence of God. I want to know him personally more than ever before, and more than anyone. There's nothing else. Look up that song, Nothing Else. Cody Carnes, I'm sure you know it. It's not necessarily new, but it'll never be old. I wish you worship today. I wish you the presence of God in your life in a greater way than ever before.